Alright, what's up, guys? The reason why my face cam's a little bigger is because we were doing a Clickhole quiz. Basically, what these are these kind of like. Hold up, actually, I probably need to make this a little bit smaller because I think the text. Okay. Basically, what these things are is these are basically quizzes, right? That brain work. These are just kind of like silly quizzes that people have made. Um, it's supposed to be like a funny thing, type of thing. Like, for instance, this quiz is called "How many of these ways have you passive aggressively suggested to your neighbor that he shrink his children down to the size of ants?" And the first, okay, that's basically all right. So the question is how many of these ways have you passive aggressively suggested to your neighbor that he shrink his kids down to the size of ants? Pointing to his ant farm and saying kids would have a lot of fun in there. See, like these types of things are just really like funny thingies. Having shrinking equipment catalogs sent to his house. Getting a tattoo of his kids on your fingerprint, telling them this could be the real size of your children. You know. Showing him one of your children's sized ants and telling him this can work both ways. Fuck. Greeting his kids with still regular size day every time you see them. Giving your neighbor's kids fun-sized Kit Kats on Halloween and whispering to your neighbor, imagine if these could feed them for 1,000 years. Asking him, I know it's none of my business, but don't you worry about how visible your kids are on radar. Yeah, that wasn't that funny. Leaving a note on his door and saying, it's leaving a note on his door that says his kids are really wearing down your sidewalk by walking on it. And maybe you could consider making them a different size, e.g. small. I like that. That was a little bit funny. Inviting a renowned ant expert to a backyard barbecue to tell your neighbor he'd be interested in studying and maybe even dissecting his kids if only they were ant size. I wouldn't know. Fuck that. I don't think that would comfort him into being all like, oh yeah, I should definitely shrink my kids down to ant sizes. Reeling back in terror at the size of his kids every time he sees them. They're moderately tall. Or they're moderately small. I don't know. I ruined the joke. I ruined the fucking joke. Casually mentioning to your neighbor over a couple of beers and tiny bicycles are much more affordable than full-size bicycles. Pointing to a bee and saying that would be fun for your kids to ride around if they're physically able to size wise. Returning the drill you borrowed from him after wearing a hat that says "shrink your kids" on it in a shrink your kids down in a very in-your-face font. Oh fuck. Oh no. A comment anonymously calling Child Protective Services on him to report that his kids aren't tiny enough to fit through the eye of a needle. Putting a bumper sticker on your car that reads "Proud parents of kids so small that no one can see them." Recording a song with the lyrics, "It's a lot easier to make your kids super tiny and that it is to make yourself gigantic," and then blasting it on your stereo while working on your car in the garage. Nice. You're passive aggressively nice. You're passive aggressively suggested your neighbors shrink his kids down a decent amount. Hey, if you still haven't gotten your neighbors to shrink his kids, it's not for lack of trying. There's more you could do to passively gull him to getting those average sized kids down to minuscule ant sized specks. But you've been putting in some work and it could still pay off. Stick with it, and who knows how small they could be soon. This is fucking great. I'm glad I found this. Alright, we're gonna do it again and we're just gonna click everything. Stop. Whoa! You've done everything in your power to get your neighbor to shrink his kids down to the size of ants, outside of just being direct with him. Holy Moses, your neighbor's going to shrink his kids for sure. You've done absolutely everything you can to prevent him to make his kids ant size, besides just looking at him in the eye and shouting, shrink your kids. There's really nothing more you can do passive aggressively. There's nothing more you can passive aggressively do. Let's do it again, except I'm not going to pick anything. You haven't passive... I like the picture change, I just realized. You haven't passive aggressively suggested your neighbor shrink down his kids much at all. Well, if your goal is to accomplish absolutely nothing, you're on the right path. Because you haven't done shit to passive aggressively try to get your neighbors to shrink his kids down to the size of ants. I love that fucking title. Don't expect your neighbor's kids to be even an inch smaller anytime soon, because you're blowing it big time. I fucking love this. Oh my god. What? How many questions are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm gonna try to do 50-50 and see if that works. Actually, I'll do like two. I'll do 3, and we'll see what happens. 1. I'll do my absolutely favorite ones. That one was my favorite. I love that one so much. I'll just put this one as well. Okay. You haven't passive aggressively suggested your neighbor shrink down his kids much at all. Well, if you're okay, so it'd be the same thing. All right. So that was. What time is it? And we've only done this for 7 minutes. We're gonna look for another one. Funny. There's another one that I saw that I wanted to do. If you want to read this one, I watched Markiplier's video on this. That's how I kind of got here. I was like, it's pretty fucking funny. How many of these reasons have you given your daughter for why your iguana doesn't deserve a funeral? Do you know why you're grounded? Can you admit to get enough to start playing child support for a son who lives in Florida? We're doing this one. Oh my god. Gandalf the Grey is a powerful wizard of... I just realized, whatchamacallit. I didn't read the intros to the other one. Anyways, it's fine. Gandalf the Grey is a powerful wizard of many great feats, but he has not yet risen to the responsibilities of fatherhood. I did not move the mic to where it was supposed to be. I am so very sorry about that. So you might not be able to hear me well. But it's fine, because it's fixed now. Oh my god. It's not yet risen to... Why am I doing a thingies where I have to read even though I can't fucking read? Not yet risen to the responsibilities of fatherhood. As illegally specified by the state of Florida, he is known as a powerful and righteous sorcerer in lands afar. However, in Miami-Dade area, Gandalf is simply viewed as a deadbeat dad who refused to even pay child support for a son. Can you convince him to start paying? Gandalf pays for everything with acorns and bones because in Middle Earth everyone is afraid he'll use his powerful magic on them if they point out that acorns and bones have no value. How will you introduce him to the US currency so he can pay for his child support with something his single mother ex can use? I will take 5 bones and 3 acorns from him and hand him a $20 bill to establish an exchange rate. I will ask for his spell book and then present him with some cash and tell him, I'm a wizard now because I have your spell book. Now that you're not a wizard, you'll have to pay for things with these dollar bills instead of acorns and bones, you deadbeat. I will say, Gandalf, dollars are the bones of Florida, and then ask him for a blow-by-blow replay of the Battle of Helm's Deep. My eye! fuck, I got something in my eye. I like the second one. The second one by far. You fucking deadbeat. What tips will you give Gandalf about explaining why he hasn't paid child support yet in court? What tips will you give Gandalf about explaining why he hasn't? I will tell him to bring a copy of The Lord of the Rings on Blu-ray and then present it to the judge and say, "This is what I've been doing, pal. Comprende?" I will tell him that he can't call his ex-wife Eivor of Sauron again, as even in Florida we know that that term is just as bad as bitch, and that he should be ashamed of himself that that even occurred to him. I will tell him to call upon the great eagle to fling the opposing counsel to the sky. Or if his magic doesn't work in Florida, then just give him a roundhouse kick to the chest. Oh fuck. Oh. One thing you need to know about Gandalf in this situation is that he has dozens of children with hobbits back in Middle Earth, and he simply sends those who ask anything of him to Mordor. How will you convince him not to send his Floridian son to Mordor? I will tell him that Florida is the Mordor of the world. I'm sure he'll have a good laugh after that joke, and he'll be in a good enough mood to not damn his son to a hellish existence. Oh fuck. I will bring him to one of his son's tennis games to show him that he's already being punished enough. I'd follow that by telling Gandalf that tragically sons without fathers are 400% more decent, more likely to play tennis. Oh no. I will tell Gandalf that he is one who faced down Nazgul at Weathertop, so who am I to say where his son should or should not be thrown into the flames of Mount Doom? I like the top one. Oh my god, how many questions are there? There's 6. Gandalf will try to pawn off his responsibilities on the nearest short person he can find as soon as you comfort him. Because in Middle-earth, he dumps all of his problems on hobbits who just sort of take it. With short people who won't put up with Gandalf shit, will you make sure to have around. I will have a 5'1" friend, Louise, who is a single mom herself, close by and will ravage the wizard by unleashing the emotions she has coped up from a lifetime of toil. Danny DeVito! I will dress a trash can up as a hobbit, then hide inside. When Gandalf walks by, I will move the lid off the can so it looks like the hobbit is taking the shame for all the times he saddled hobbits with the bastard children just because he was too lazy to put a condom on. I like the top one. I'm hungry. I just realized whenever I read, I don't know what it is, I get really fucking hungry. Like like my other games that I play, whenever I read a lot, I get really fucking hungry for no reason. I don't know why it's a thing. When Gandalf cries, orcs can smell his tears and will quickly be upon you, inflicting an epic battle of good and evil that can last centuries, which will only give him another excuse to not pay child support. How will you prevent him from weeping when you explain that what he needs to do? I will keep saying things like, "Wow, that's the best staff I've ever seen. Is that new staff?" I want him to weep. The orcs will care for this better than me. I will blindfold him so he'll think he's doing a surprise party. After this tough conversation, once I got thinking about birthday parties and how much fun they are, I might actually forget about the childcare thing and throw Gandalf a birthday party first. I think the first one's alright. Gandalf will eventually break down and tell you that the only reason why he hasn't paid yet is because he still wants to get back with his ex, since no one in Middle-earth finds Wizard sexy. I'd fucking find him sexy. I met Wizard sexy. What will you say in response to this revelation? I will tell Gandalf that the best way to a woman's heart is to pay the child support for the son you had with her 25 years ago? 25 years ago? before literally vanishing without a trace by using an enchanted teleportation stone. I will tell him that no one has ever found him sexy, and he should regain himself to a fate of lonely penance with only the occupation pity hand job from the ENT. I will slam a 6-pack of Blue Moon Winter Abbey Ale on the table and say, Gandalf, forget woman. How about you teach me how to shoot a fireball with my hands? I like the second one. I did it! You have convinced Gandalf to pay child support. You fair but stern moral lessons have made sense to the logical mind of Middle Earth's most powerful wizard. He has promised to do better and start paying his ex immediately. We fucking did it, guys. And with that on our bucket list of the fact that we have Gandalf, we convinced Gandalf to pay child support. With that in mind, that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you comment or subscribe. If you want me to do any more of this Clickhole quizzes, then just, you know, like the video and like leave a comment saying, hey, these are pretty fucking lit, you know? Anyways, I hope you comment or subscribe, do all that cool stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.